Oh yes, how's everybody doing tonight? Nicktendo Direct Podcast number 6. Man, this is gonna be a good night, good laid back, chill night. We have to keep these things short and sweet. No 2-hour podcast, about 45 minutes. But either way, thanks everybody for stopping by. I got the man, Lil Will's in the house. We got Australia Gamer, what's going on? Skull Stomper, what's going on, my dude? So anyway, Saltiest Gaming's in here. What's going on, my dude? So we got some just some small topics, nothing crazy. We're going to be talking about, of course, the Nintendo stocks. Everybody's kind of freaking out about these Nintendo stocks. Panic Button had some discussions about the future of the Switch, and also they were talking. Sorry, they ported Warframe to the Switch, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, maybe some Octopath, and we're going to talk about Sakurai, and of course him saying that he does not care about the competitive scene of Smash Bros. But I do have a guest with me, my buddy Andy from Entertainment Gaming Daily. What's going on, my man?
Hey, how's it going? I'm just eyes. Hello, guys.
eyes.
I hope you like my eyes. They're pretty nice, I think.
Hold on.
Oh, we don't need full face.
There we go. There we go. Now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. Thanks for that, bro. I just now saw that. Either way, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. How are you, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm better now that I am home. I was in Kansas, and that was fun. It was interesting. Like I was telling you before that we started, it was nothing but cornfields and wheat fields and no internet, hardly, no cell phone service, and that was great for the weekend. That was pretty cool, I guess, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to survive out. Well, for starters, I watch a lot of horror movies, so if I was out in a cornfield, I probably would fear for my life.
I barely survived out there. I was just trying to get in here and try to chat with some people in Discord and talk to people sparingly. It was pretty rough, bro. I cannot lie. It was interesting. But either way, man. So tell the people what you've been doing lately. Like what games you've been playing, what's going on with the YouTube channel, all that stuff.
Took a short hiatus from the channel because I have a lot going on as far as Rebecca being sick, and I got a new car and I was in an accident before. So now I had to make a legit streaming schedule, but it's going to make the channel a lot easier and people can come hang out and have fun and play games with us a lot better than they were before.
Awesome.
As far as games I've been playing, I technically haven't been playing too much out of, being a person that has over 2,000 and buys every game that comes out versus and also getting a couple either as review copies or for free from Nintendo. I haven't been playing much. I mean, I just started Ni no Kuni 2, literally, I think an hour before you told me to come jump into the podcast. So I started that, and I've been dabbling a little bit with the few games I'm doing for the channel and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. So that's kind of what I've been doing as far as gaming is concerned.
Oh, what's awesome, man. I've been... This past week, I've been streaming on Twitch, and I was doing Zelda Week. So this past week, I was playing Breath of the Wild. I tried to finish that within this week, and so I started that on Monday. I'm going to finish it tonight, and then I was also doing A Link to the Past here and there, but I was really focusing on Breath of the Wild, my second playthrough. That was a lot of fun. It's a lot easier second time through, if you think about it. And then this upcoming week to get ready for Octopath Traveler, I'm gonna be doing RPG week, so that's gonna be fun. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, stuff like that. So that should fill up the week. We got Stitched in here. What's going on, man? The happy is that Gas? The Happy Gas?
That's Happy Gas, yeah.
Happy. All right, what's going on? So, man, like I said, I want to talk about these topics. Like I said, we're not going to keep everybody's time. We like to try to get out of here fairly quick. Let's just go ahead and start with this one. Panic Button ported Warframe to the Nintendo Switch. There was an announcement earlier that Panic Button had a port to announce. That what was that? Right around E3, right after E3 or so. And so everybody thought it was going to be Fallout 4. But then Todd Howard pretty much kind of broke all of our hopes with that one and said, nope, it's not Fallout 4. We'd love for Fallout 4, but it's not Fallout 4. And then, so the announcement was made, I believe, yesterday that Warframe will be the game that's ported, and that'll be coming to the Nintendo Switch. What do you think about this one, man? Because I think it's a great port. I think it's a great game. My only issue is, yeah, it'll be newer to a lot of Nintendo's install base, especially the hardcore ones. But for me, someone who's already played the game and has had many Warframes on another console, I don't necessarily feel like, you know, starting a new game. I really hope that there's some sort of, not cross-play, but sort of cross-progression. All your stuff saves across platforms, because I'm hyped about it, but not so hyped because I don't feel like going back and doing everything again. So what do you think about it?
I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised even when I heard. This is something that I've talked about multiple times on my own channel, because the two biggest games on the channel in general are Warframe and Splatoon. Nice. I have a ton of I think about 500 people on the channel are Warframe fans. Yeah, like we have a lot of Warframe fans. Like if you look at what streams that have the biggest amount of views, it's always the Warframe ones, if not Splatoon. So just it coming to Switch, I mean, that's a much stronger avenue, to be really honest, because I would personally play it more on Switch than I would anywhere else. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something you can do as far as logging into one of the accounts, at least PC, to get all that data back. And even then, it's not too big of a deal, because if you do decide to play it on Switch, for example, and you said you have data somewhere else, I would just get frames that I didn't get in the other places.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, because like I stream it on PC, PS4, and Xbox. Xbox a lot less than everything else. And so I just tried to keep frames on each console that I don't have on another console. Just, you know, because the way I play games personally, because it's, I mean, at this point, it's just selfish. It's just me. How's it going, Skull? But basically, what's a good example? I don't need an example. When I play a game, actually, GTA is also a good example. When I play a game, I like to use just one thing, try to find one character. So, like, when I play Warframe on PC, I pretty much only use Ash Prime. When I play it on PS4, I only use whatever I have on PS. Haro. I don't remember who I have on there. So it's like I don't really tend to switch characters on games very often.
Gotcha.
Because that brings me to GTA. On the Xbox, I have the Batmobile. So when I play on PlayStation, I'm going to get a completely different vehicle. That way my experience still feels fresh and it's different. So I don't fully see a problem with it being on Switch. I think it's pretty awesome. I might dive into it just because. And since we started playing it again, a lot of people are watching and are asking, hey, is this free? Where can I get it? Blah, blah, blah. And I always have to say, well, it's on this system, even though I know you're a Nintendo fan. Now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, now it don't
Every
matter.
system has it. Yeah.
Yeah, that much is true. Yeah, like I said, what's going on, Avedon? Avedon's in the house. Man, like, I really was excited whenever I saw this. I was like, oh my goodness, Warframe, and I texted my buddy Salty's Gaming, and he was like, oh dude, I'll play that so much. And then he was like, wait a minute, will the stuff carry over? And I said, you know what, that's a good question, because for me personally, I've only played it on Xbox. All my Warframes are on that one platform. So I hope that's all I asked for. I hope that there's some sort of crossover, that way we don't have to get new Warframes. But if so, I mean, I'll just have to suck it up and you know, grind some Warframes or whatnot. We got the fake mate, aka the real mate, in the house. What's going on? Salty's here. So yeah, man, I think that's an interesting port. I think it's a huge port, and as you said, you've had people ask you, you know, where can I get this game? And you have to tell them PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, and most of them are Nintendo fans. So then now it's on Nintendo. I think it's huge for the platform. I think it'll work out very well. I think a lot of people will be pleased with the game. That brings me to this next thing. So somebody at Panic Button was asked about, let's see here, Adam Crichton, he was asked about the future of the Switch, and asked a few questions, and he had some interesting things to say. He said that it was a really good piece of hardware, blah, 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 but there was one thing that he said interesting, was that he wasn't worried about the future Xbox or PlayStation releases, because he speculates and says that Nintendo has the capabilities of coming out with a better and more powerful Switch. That got my ears perking up a little bit. Of course, he could just be talking out of his butt because he don't know too much, but it really got my ears perking because Nintendo had already came out and said that this Switch, they're going to roll with it for 7 to 10 years. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be the same hardware necessarily, but that just kind of perked my ears a little bit that he said they have the capabilities of coming out with a more powerful Switch. Down the road, do you think that it would be a necessity, or if it could possibly happen once, you know, the Xbox and PlayStation reveal their consoles, whether it's 2020 or 2021 or whatever? Do you think it'll be more likely for Nintendo to do something like that, step their game up, or will you think they'll just be hard-headed and stick with the same hardware and kind of just let it ride its course?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I mean, if Nintendo, let's be real though, as far as graphics are concerned, anybody who disagrees with me probably doesn't really, they've never built a computer or anything before. But the way graphics are going now, they're not really as advanced. PS4 and Xbox, there's not much further than they can go than they already have. Microsoft has already peaked with the Xbox One, to be honest. Because if you see how much the Xbox One X came out, and that is if you get a system that's that powerful, and then you see the price, just imagine something stronger and better than that. Like, flash memory is a little bit cheaper now, but regardless, to come out with a system that much more powerful, I'm not going to say Nintendo is going to come up with something that's going to like come out swinging or anything, but if they came up with anything, it would just be a little bit bigger of a jump from what they have now. And it's not kind of like between like the 3DS and the new 3DS, how the new 3DS is it's not a significant jump, but it is a jump from the 3DS, where there are games that will only work on the new 3DS model. So if Nintendo made another system, it would be a small revision like that. And honestly, that small, with the ports that Panic Button has been doing, a revision even that small would still keep Nintendo relevant. That would still keep Nintendo very, very relevant. Because if Sony and that's why Sony even said they don't plan on another console until 2022, like at least putting, you know, and making one come out, that is. So there's still another at least 2 to 3 years with the PS4, but it's like they have to wait at this point. You know, their systems have gotten to the point where it'll be too much money for them and too much money for us, and vice versa, for them to actually make a more powerful console that is consumer friendly as far as price is concerned. So Nintendo in the long run, not worried about it, because if they wait 5 to 6 years, which is a regular console cycle, if they wait 5 to 6 years, by the time they even decide to come out with a new version of the Switch, if it's a Switch iteration or a new console, knowing them, they'll probably just use what's current now.
Right.
To be really honest. And that's technically not really a problem if they do, because right now, like I said, we've kind of peaked when it comes to console, even computers. Now, graphics and computers, way higher, but a graphics card, especially to get one that is at its top in game or a little bit under, that's $500 by itself, and that's just the graphics card. So that's why you got to take into account with a console trying to get to where PC is, where PC is going, which hasn't gone very far in my opinion, but trying to get there, that's the sure problem. So honestly, I'm not too worried about Nintendo. By the time these other fools figure out what they want to do as far as graphics is concerned and making it cost efficient, I'm sure Nintendo will at least be at the level of like baseline Xbox One, or at least close, because you know they don't really care that much about graphic. Well, they care about visuals, I guess, because they do make visually impressive video games, no matter what graphical fidelity. GameCube games look nice right now, but they know power is a problem. They want that third party, therefore they're going to get as close to PlayStation, Xbox level as possible, but without breaking the bank.
Right. Well, interesting you said that, because that's something I kind of wanted to touch on, but I didn't know. But you kind of segued to it, and that is the third party support. As far as currently with the Switch, currently, like they're seeming like they don't have a whole lot of current third party support. You know what I mean? I think that's a lot of people's complaints with the Switch is I can't get the Assassin's Creeds or the excuse me, I can't get the Assassin's Creeds or the Divisions or the Destinies or games like that on a Switch. It's interesting that you said that they would maybe with the next generation kind of go towards what the Xbox would be now. I don't know if that's necessarily a smart move, but I don't know a whole lot of things. I know that Nintendo fans will support them no matter what, and they have great ideas. I mean, I never thought that the Switch would be as successful as it is, but it is now. So clearly, I don't know anything. But as far as third-party support, do you see that being a problem not like a huge problem. Do you see it being a problem for Nintendo in the future, or do you think they're just these first party bangers are going to be what's going to carry them through, which is normally is the case? But
the future of the current Switch, or if they made another iteration?
Let's just talk about both. First, let's go with the current and then talk about the future.
Well, the current Switch, I'm going to say it's a tug of war between yes and no, because here's the thing. Nintendo tends to get third-party games that, no offense to some of the games everybody likes, but Nintendo tends to get third-party games that matter. They don't get the fad games. Like, for example, games like Call of Duty does count, but not necessarily Call of Duty, but games like Assassin's Creed. Huge Assassin's Creed fan, not dissing it in any form, but that's what I consider a fad game. It comes out, it's popular for 2 months or barely 3 months, and then everybody forgets about it. So it's like they're pretty much banking on more longevity. Wolfenstein, huge cult following, sells very well. That has longevity. Doom, same difference. So pretty much anything by Bethesda, same difference. Warframe, same difference. So it's like the games they're getting, they are pretty good for third-party games, and with that, they have legitimate longevity that would last a long time. What's going with Paladins, and so that's where I would say yes. They would be well, but at the same time, they're still not getting those fad games that people want right now, like Division, because everyone's going to play Division when it comes out. Everyone's going to stop caring maybe 3 or 4 months after it comes out, just like they did with the last one, just like they did with Division, just like they do with most of these games that come out. Because, you know, games get rinse, repeat, recycled all the time. We get the same ones every year. And then people go, what can it be to my Nintendo? It's like, well, to be very, very honest, it's because it's not that big of a priority. It's a cute game for a couple minutes, but at the end of the day, it's not going to, you know, there's no longevity into most of that stuff, and they don't tend to hold on to that. They should, but they don't. Now, as far as a newer iteration of the Switch, it's absolutely crucial that they do it. That they at least make the hardware to where those games can run on lower settings. Not like we're on Switch where they have to kind of,
do an extra completely port and do it. Yeah, it's got to be a real...
Yeah, except for doing like takeaways, they could at least port it with a lower graphical fidelity, at least parable to where it doesn't look bad, or can at least maintain this frame rate, or, you know, because with the Switch, it's beautiful. Their ports are great. The games look great. Sure, if you put it next to a PS4, Xbox One, it's meh, but if you don't compare it at all, you wouldn't even notice that there would have been a difference between the other ones, because those games look phenomenal on the Switch. But at the same time, they still had to remove that bush. I wouldn't have known the bush was there unless I compared it. But they still removed that bush, and there's still no fish in that waterfall. But you'd only know that if you compare it. So it's like, it is absolutely crucial in the future that they kind of, you know, make the system a little bit stronger. But as far as right now, I think they're fine. They're getting titles that matter. I'm not choked up about not playing Division on my Switch. If I really want to waste money on that game, I'll play it on my PlayStation or my Xbox.
As long as they keep getting the game, for me personally, as long as they keep getting the games like the Octopath Travelers and games like that, and Square Enix is on board and Capcom's on board, then I think I will be okay. But I do know there's a lot of people that's one of their things against the Switch is it doesn't have the third-party support that they like, so therefore it's like they want to dog on all the time, which I understand, but I mean, to me it's no big deal. But very excited for Octopath Traveler. I can't say that enough.
One thing I want to put out there, though, really quickly, Nintendo should, because they've been around for 30 years, they should play the assholes. Except for, well, I mean, let's be real. Except for like saying, oh, Nintendo doesn't have third-party support. Oh, Nintendo's lacking. Blah blah blah. The Switch's main capability is to take it out of the house. If you look at the pattern of games that they're not getting, they're all games that are almost online only. Did you think about that? So it's like, that would kind of undermine the point of the Switch. Like, it's weird that they already got Paladins in Fortnite. Yeah. Paladins might have an offline mode, but Fortnite, I'm sure, doesn't, since they got rid of it. No. So that defeats the purpose of taking it out of the house. That's true. If they added Division and Call of Duty, those are two games that you have to play online at all times. Like, even Warframe has an offline mode. So
that's true. That's true.
So they can kind of point fingers. It's like, oh, Nintendo's had this game. I don't want to buy their system. Well, Nintendo could literally say, oh, our system can play it. Those assholes just want to make everything online only with no story. So that kind of plays into it, too.
They could play it that way, though. I don't think they would. I mean, because as they do seem to have this year more of an online focus, though. If you think about it, they've even even the president even said that was going to be one of the things they were going to do this year with the online service and stuff. And it almost seems like every game that they've gotten or every port has been like an online focused game. And it's funny that you say that because the whole perk of the Switch was you can take this on the go. But it does that defeats the purpose of taking it on the go if you're constantly have to be online. I mean, unless you have a hotspot with you, but who wants to do that? That just seems like a big headache, honestly. Either way, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is to me a very annoying topic. Just because people are talking about this, and I talked about this on the Saltiest podcast, so I put my input on it, but at the same time, like, people are talking about Nintendo stock dropping, and I mean, bruh, but the Switch has Wi-Fi. People are talking about Nintendo stock dropping and paying attention, and people are saying, oh, it's not looking good for Nintendo, and it's just a big deal. I've looked up many resources that I could, and everybody keeps saying, well, this is not a huge deal. Don't look too much into it. RGT85 had a video about it. We were talking about it pre-game. Just go ahead and explain to people, this whole stock issue and why it's not a huge worry about their stock dropping. Just because this is like one of those topics that's like, why are we talking about this? But you have a lot more knowledge on Nintendo-based things and businesses, so go ahead and let them know.
Well, to starters, Nintendo has enough money to fail for the next 34 years, if not longer. Unlike other companies, because most companies, they don't really have money necessarily. They get, it's from the, obviously, like, investments or loans, this, that, and the other. A lot of companies are in debt, hence PlayStation and Microsoft. Nintendo has money in the bank. They have a lot of money in the bank. They actually saved all these years, unlike everyone else. They have enough money to fail as many times as they like. But with that being said, as far as the stocks, the way stocks work is people buy stocks into something they see is growing, and then if they feel like they're not going to get anything out of it, they pull out because they think Nintendo has peaked and or plateaued. People don't have the money they have that they've had before nowadays. Money is very, very hard to get, very, very hard to hold on to. Jobs don't pay anything. Jobs are hard to get. Therefore, many people are kind of slowing down and buying consoles. It's the middle of the summer. People don't want to sit at home. That's one reason why it could not be selling. But with that being said, the only time you know anything about stocks is if it's a part of your job, or if you learned it in school, or if you're going to school for it. Therefore, people that give their opinion about Nintendo stocks dropping, they shut the hell up. They don't know anything about it. They don't know anything about it. If they say they do know something about it, they probably don't know something about it. You can Google it all you like, but you can't understand it just from reading an article.
Right.
Look at Sony and Microsoft. Their stocks go all over the place. Sony's stocks dropped after the whole Fortnite deal. Sony's stocks dropped after the crossplay thing. And at the end of the day, no one said anything. But they're making a big deal about Nintendo stocks dropping when we shouldn't care. Because their investors haven't changed, just their stocks. So it's like, that shit escalates all the time. GameStop should be dead. Their stocks have been dropping literally for the last 13 years, and they're still here, and they're not doing well still. So if they can last 13 years with stocks dropping versus a company with video game systems that last 6 years, their stocks can drop for the next 6 years and they'll still be fine.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was listening to his video, watching RGT85's video, and he pretty much said the same thing. Like, most people that invest in stocks aren't even video game, like, for the most part aren't video game fans, so they don't know. They just give their money to somebody and say, here, invest this in stocks for me so I can get a good return, and then they have somebody manage their money for them. So for the most part, when it comes to the stock market, at least from what I've gathered, it's just people throwing free money that they have and say, here we go, give me something that has a return, and then they just sell on it whenever they feel like it's plateaued or maxed out. So, for the most part, like you said, I gotta agree, this has to be just a sign of maybe some of these people are pulling out because they think Nintendo is plateaued right now, and maybe the stock will go back up whenever, it's time for Pokemon and Smash and for them they come out with more games, and it'll just fluctuate this way. But I have to agree, this would be a time, if you are a stockholder, go ahead and buy, because I think it's going to go back up and you'll be able to sell high, buy low, sell high, that sort of thing. But I just thought, this topic, people have been talking about this for like the last 6 weeks to ever since like right before E3 talking about the stocks and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Nintendo's going to do fine. I believe that they're going to have a console seller on their hand with Smash. I honestly, and Pokemon, I believe those are going to sell more consoles. So I think they'll
and that's the other thing too, because I always hear people with Nintendo systems for years. I always hear people say when this game comes out, they're not buying a system now. When this game comes out, I will be buying this console. That's what people say all the time. So like when Smash comes out and when Pokemon comes out, the system will fly off the shelves again. But until then, they're probably going to stay right where they are. Yes. Because that's just how people work. People will buy the game with the system on the exact same day, rather than buying the system now, being out of money, and then just having a system sitting around until the game comes out. So it happens all the time. When I worked at GameStop for 5 years, people would literally come in day one of a game's release and buy the system for that game right then and there. It happens all the time. It's natural. And even then, investors, and this is how you know. Here's another thing. Investors don't pay attention to what Nintendo actually does. They pay attention to the moment. Nintendo has never showed all their cards at E3. They have 5 or 6 Nintendo Directs throughout the year, most of them after E3 to show what they're doing now for holidays, and then for the following couple months for the next year. That's something investors don't pay attention to. So like they think, oh, that's all they had at E3? Maybe I want to back out. It's like, have you paid attention to Nintendo's practices in the past? They don't give a shit. Japanese companies don't give a shit about E3. Microsoft are the only ones that actually go to E3 and do something.
Well, I don't know. You saw Sony's E3 this year. They put a lot of theatrics into their E3 conference.
But they weren't
care too much.
But they weren't at the same building. So it's
fair enough.
And then they did things their own way, and they showed things within their own studio. So it's like everybody does their own versions of E3, especially Japan, because they don't care. They have other events. Unlike Microsoft, they have other events. So it's like they don't show all their cards right there. They never do. Nintendo has multiple directs. And with that being said, let's look at Nintendo's basic history throughout the last, we'll say the last 17 years. There's always one iteration of a game per console. There's one Mario Kart per console. You can count how many consoles they have based on how many Mario Karts there are. Same thing with Smash. Same thing with almost Zelda. Zelda, they do 1 or 2, but they have the same pattern as far as that's concerned. And right now, they're breaking that tradition. They're breaking that pattern. Have we ever, and Nick, you've been gaming just as long as I have, probably even a little bit longer. Have they ever put it in 2 years of a console? Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Zelda, 3 Mario games, basically. I mean, I could continue with the list. It's like, in the span of 2 years, they have all of their heavy hitters sprawled throughout. And, and investors are looking at this and going, they're not raking in the money we want them to have. It's like, boy? It's like boy, I would have killed to have all the shit we have on Switch right now
100%.
On the Wii U, Wii, and GameCube.
100%, especially on the GameCube.
So, they're doing fine as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Speaking of, I just want to talk about this real quick. So I don't know if you saw this. I may have shared it with you, but Alpha Dream pretty much talked about how they were recruiting graphic designers for the Switch and smartphone projects. They're best known for the Mario and Luigi game on the 3DS. And so I kind of want to rake this into this because I didn't want to talk about what they're working on as far as the games, but what they put down as far as Switch and mobile. And it seems to be that I think we're going to see the end of the 3DS here fairly soon. I think that'll be something that won't have support here in the near future. And it seems like Nintendo's making a push for the Switch and for the mobile market. What are your thoughts on that real quick? Do you think that's a good idea? I think the mobile market, I don't know. I know that the Animal Crossing game apparently raked in a ton of money. Pokemon Go is a banger, obviously. They're getting ready to do that Mario Kart Tour game, Run Mario Run. I don't know how well that one did, but it seems like their mobile games are raking in cash. So, do you think that that's something that they're really looking to hit in the future?
My asking my opinion on mobile is an awful idea. I hate mobile games.
Oh, I know you hate mobile, but as far
they
as
need to be shut down, they're ruining the gaming industry. The practices company have as far as loot boxes and the way you pay for games and objects and items for your games, all derived from mobile and Candy Crush and all those stupid games that people's moms play. Nintendo, but I don't know. I don't like mobile games. Okay, if I'm gonna go from a non-biased standpoint. And put my own personal feelings aside, mobile is a great idea for Nintendo. Not to make legit games. They're not going to neglect their main system. Mobile, just like Smash, is a good way to advertise what's coming to the actual system. So it's like, hey, you like this little crappy limited mini game version of Mario Kart? Grab a Switch, you can play the real game.
Right.
And that is a good way to kind of push people towards the Switch. Good way to, because most mobile games and free games have advertisement. They could advertise the Switch there and easily say, hey, you like Fire Emblem? We have a real one.
You better bet whenever Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee come out, like, you better bet there'll be so much ads on Pokemon Go when that game comes out. Yeah,
so 100%. I mean, from a non-biased standpoint, mobile is a beautiful idea for them just because you know they're going to use it in order to push Switch, in order to get people interested. It's basically like a miniature version of the real product, so you can play Fire Emblem if you've never played it before, and then maybe try and enjoy the real game on the real deal. So that's the main reason why I agree with Switch. If we have more Nintendo owners, that means we got more Nintendo games and better quality. So that's kind of where my head is at on there from a non-biased standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, with my regular personality and opinions, fuck mobile.
all right, but what do you, as far as them pretty much mentioning Switch and mobile only, I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously we're gonna have to see the end of the 3DS for too much longer because of when it came out, and they seem to be moving forward with the Switch. But when do you think that would happen to come to an end? When do you think they'll finally come out and say, okay, we're not doing much support for 3DS, it's pretty much over? When do you think that'll happen?
I don't know. I've wanted 3DS to die like 5 years ago. So, because like if they didn't put so much support on 3DS, the Wii U would have had a fighting chance. A game would come out, you'd be like, oh, that's awesome. I really want to play that. And then it's a 3DS game. Why is it on the Wii U? Like that happened so many times. It even happened this year. Matter of fact, with the Nintendo Direct, everyone's like, "Oh, there's Great Luigi's Mansion. I want to play that game again."
And then it came out, and it was on the DS game. That Kirby Battle Royale game was one of those games that I saw, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And then it was a 3DS game.
Title. So it's like that. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. They're allowing a game that gets people's interest immediately, like that game that came out for the 3DS last year that everyone slept on, Ever Oasis. Saw Ever Oasis, was immediately invested. A lot of people were. And then saw it was 3DS only, and everybody forgot about it immediately. It was like, nope, not buying it. So it's like, the 3DS, in my opinion, at this point, is killing their consoles. And the Switch being portable, and a lot of 3DS developers have said they're developing for Switch now.
Right.
So it's like 3DS developers just need to all move over. Nintendo needs to let the 3DS die, or make a more portable version of the Switch that plays the same games as 3DS. I don't know. There are many avenues they could take, but I personally think 3DS finally needs to pack its bags and go home. It needs to go on a leave of absence, retire. I mean, I'm going to be real, Alteria Gamer. I don't care if you or anyone else likes the 3DS. I like the 3DS. I have 4 of them. It's a nice system, but at the same time, what I like is going to kill something that I love. I'd rather the thing I like to go away.
Yeah, I'm over at this point. I really am.
Yeah, it's like the Switch is here. It's time for 3DS to go away. It doesn't matter what you like. They can port all the stuff you like over to the Switch, and the experience will be better or the same. You don't need that bottom screen. Push the start button. Boom. All it was a map anyway. So
fair enough.
3DS needs to go. It's time for the Switch to reign supreme. I could have had that Luigi's Mansion on the Switch if Nintendo didn't look at that freaking 3DS as still a feasible console.
Abaddon has a question for the panel. Do you think the 3DS successor will be a Switch Mini or a brand new handheld never before revealed to retain that current market?
I would like for it to be a Switch Mini just because it would make a lot more sense.
Smash T says, problem is that 3DS dwarfs the Switch sales at this moment. I want it to die as well, but the money is tough for Nintendo to say no to. That much is true, but I mean, look at how the Switch is selling. It's succeeded their expectations, and I can say this without a doubt, it's going to smash their goal that they had this year with Pokemon and Smash coming out. I guarantee you it's going to smash that. I think that they don't have too much to worry about as far as worrying about that money. I think it's time for it to go. Me personally, I'm annoyed at it. Like I said, every direct when I see 3DS, I just roll my eyes and say, "Come on, let's just get it out of the way, get it over with."
Yeah, me too. And Edward, the 3D, no one used it, and from a business standpoint, they got rid of the 3DS because they had to pay someone else. They lost a settlement in I don't even know if settlement's the right word. They lost in court for the 3DS, and every time they produce a 3DS with 3D, they have to pay out of pocket to someone else a percentage because they were sued and lost. That's why they made the 2DS, so they don't have to give that asshole any money. So whether the 3D is only on 3DS or at all, it doesn't really matter because Nintendo doesn't want to produce those because of that guy that they're giving money to. So yeah, at that point it doesn't even matter. It's 2DS. That's the one that reigns supreme. That's the one that matters. The 3D is dead. It's been dead for a while, and Nintendo killed it personally because they had to. They don't. It sucks to have to make a console and then pay. That's like with the Switch. If Nintendo lost in court with the Switch, they'd be paying that other company a percentage out of every single Switch sale just because of the Joy-Con. If they had to do that, I bet you they'd come up with something else in a heartbeat. And that's why with the 3DS, they're like, fuck, we can just make it without the 3D. No one's using it anyway. And that saves them a trouble of putting little letters, little notes on the 3DS saying, keep children from this age from playing it and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, no. I mean, just like I did a second ago, I humbled myself and said, look, this is my opinion, but this is how, unbiased thing with the mobile thing was. If you guys, I know a lot of you are young, but if you would take a second to put aside your personal feelings and see the bigger picture, you would understand, a few more things. Like, because I understand how much everyone loves the 3DS. I love it myself, but it's got to go. I mean, and if you can't see that it is a problem, you did not pay attention to the Wii U era.
Abaddon says, as far as architecture, I'm interested in what hardware could go into a Switch Mini, especially with the current Switch model regarded as quote-unquote underpowered. That would be interesting to see what they would do with the Switch Mini. I would like to see that. Australia, we're not talking crap, I promise you. It's just we're discussing whether it should go because it's biting into the Switch. We've already discussed, there's games that we've seen come out and then it's been 3DS and we've been excited. Now the excitement's worn off. And so, I just kind of have to say I'm just ready for it to go, just because all my time and all my money is now being invested into the Switch at this point, and so I like to see future games develop for the Switch pretty much. But either way, we're gonna move on to the next topic. We got two more, but surprise, surprise! Everybody's favorite person, Sakurai, pretty much was asked in an interview talking about the competitive realm of Smash Ultimate, and he pretty much said, I'm not concerned and I do not care about the competitive realm of Smash Ultimate. I make the game the way I want to make it. I make the game for a certain demographic and market. Therefore, I don't care too much about making things different, making things better for the competitors. I mean, I just find that response savage and hilarious. You mentioned before we started, like, that's not surprising to you because he's already mentioned the same thing about Melee or whatever.
Every single one.
Every single one. I just think it's funny. To this day, everybody keeps telling him, pay attention to the competitive scene, and what does he say every time? Nah, son, I'm good. Pretty much what he said every time. Yeah.
He doesn't see it as a competitive game, even though it obviously is.
Right.
He doesn't care about it. He doesn't want to care. That means he'll have to do more balancing and stuff and all the time versus like a regular. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you going to be playing Smash competitively? Let me ask you that question. Oh yeah, I always do. In my town and in Chicago, Indianapolis, and no, just Chicago. I don't go to the other place anymore. I always do like little competitions and stuff for for Smash Brothers is typically pretty fun.
I'll tell you this right now. I plan on, when a game comes out, streaming it a lot and attempting. If there's one thing about me, I am very competitive. And it is just I'm very competitive, so knowing me, that'll be one of if I start taking this game that seriously, it'll completely shut me off. I've done it with Overwatch. I've done it with other games like of that matter. So for me, I'm gonna have to take this one slow and just kind of chill with it, because if I try to play it competitive, I will not play that game anymore. It'll ruin it for me. I guarantee it. So I've done nothing but watch YouTube videos of people with their strategies, what they do. I've watched tournament highlights of all players just storming out like crybabies, smashing controllers on the floor. And I'm like, I don't know if I want any part of this, bro. I really don't know. Abaddon says Smash can be a competitive game if players make it one. The game without changing anything is open for everyone, but I plan to play it competitive. I'm going to try. Let me put it that way. I'm going to try for my sanity, but if I get super upset or over the top competitive, I'm just gonna have to just chill out with it. That's just me, honestly. To add, Smash can be 10 times more competitive than traditional fighters. Yes, and that is one of my things. Like I said, all I've done is watch videos, and bruh, I did not know there. Forgive me for my ignorance, but I didn't know that there was like the competitive realm of Smash was like that.
Really?
I did not know that, and I just was watching videos. I cannot believe people go hard on this game, breaking controllers. It was nuts.
Yeah, if you look at the competitive scene for just about any game that can be considered a fighting game, people are pretty crazy. Because like I go to tournaments for fighting games in general, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Smash, Injustice. I mean, the list goes on. And I will say, kind of agreeing with Abaddon, fighting games are stupidly competitive when people are in them.
Oh, man.
But Smash is regarded much higher just because of its general play style. The tables can turn, the tide can turn in a heartbeat. It's not like Tekken where like you get that perfect combo or that perfect hit in, you win, stuff like that. Or you slip, or if the person that you're playing against is better than you and he slips up, you have a chance of winning. It's not like Smash. It's you can be damn good at Smash and still lose. Like it's so Smash. That's why you get those people that storm off and they get super upset because they're like really good and they died from a fluke or they feel something was unfair and they just because I've even had that happen. I'm like using like on Brawl, I'm using Sonic and I'm running, then I tripped on a banana peel, and so since I tripped on, I mean not tripped on, they trip on their feet on that game. So I'm running, he tripped on his feet and then fell off the stage. And so that gave the guy the chance to run up and spike the living shit out of me because, like, when you trip, you can't stop. So it's like that's one of those things where someone would throw their controller on the ground and run off. So it's like,
yeah. So I'm gonna take this game with a grain of salt and just chill. Like, but I can't wait. The game's gonna be great. It's gonna be a banger. I'm very excited for it. So moving on to the last topic, real quick. And I know that you had already told me that you're not too excited for this game, but I know I am. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that is ready for this game. That's Octopath Traveler. It's coming out this upcoming weekend, the 13th. I already have my copy pre-ordered. It's loaded up on the Switch. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. And so pretty much the Octopath Traveler dev says that this game was made as a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy 6 or 3 in the US in terms of game mechanics. Bruh, I cannot wait for this game to come out. You don't understand. Like, I'm a big Super NES RPG guy. Been waiting. I was actually wanting them to port like Super Mario RPG to the Switch and Final Fantasy 6, but this game will hold me over. I cannot wait. I'm streaming it. I know you said that you're not going to anticipate you're going to play your buddy's copy, but how do you see this game doing for the Switch? That's the one thing I want to know. How well do you see this game selling, and how well do you see it doing?
I'm not really sure because it's I'm not sure. I can't give my opinion on that at all. RPGs is not something I ever really cared about. I dabble in them now. I have been for the last few years. but I don't know how RPGs really sell. I can't give any input on that at all.
Well, I can tell you right now, the demo has been downloaded. Right here it says demo has been downloaded 1.5 million times.
Yeah, because like I do know
Unless
people have
it's a
been
typo.
clamoring for that traditional RPG turn-based style. I do know that for a fact. But I don't know how this game's gonna do. It's not that I don't care about it necessarily. It's just I'm not big on RPGs. Games that are like 30 hours plus, I get like it's bad enough I played the Tales video games, Tales of Zestiria and stuff.
Ooh,
but it's like games that are like incredibly long. It's like it's hard for me to like continue to pay full 100% attention to.
I hear you on that. I hear that. Octopath is
I'm gonna
super
borrow
niche.
my friends, and that's as far as I'm gonna go. But the game is cool. I played the demo, obviously. I got through the demo. I enjoyed the character I was using. I kind of want to try another character. I would like to get the game. It's just it's not on my radar. Something I'm gonna get, especially since my friend's grabbing it, and I just take it from him.
Fair enough, fair enough. I, like Abaddon says, let's see here. Octopath is super niche, therefore I don't see this game being on everyone's need to buy list. I give this game 3 million copies within 1 year, which is, in my opinion, 3 million in 1 year is well enough because Square Enix has already said they're basing the success of this game on whether or not more original content for the Switch will be coming out. Because they already said they're having that Switch division. They're going to base it off of this. I'm telling everybody right now, please, for my sake, for my selfish sake, please. The first demo was downloaded 1.5 million times, the first one. So please, for my selfish, for me, everybody needs to go buy this game. Because I would love to see more content from Square Enix on the Switch.
Yeah, and I will say in my town, a lot of people, one of my friends was telling me, because he's still the general manager at the GameStop he's at, people have been buying the Switch to play Octopath Traveler.
Dang.
Yeah, like it's all people that like only have PlayStations, because you know the PlayStation fans kind of grew up with games that are like that, like Tales, Legend of Legaia, and all those games, Legend of Dragoon. Like those people are still PlayStation fans to this day. So I do know in my town a lot of Switches have been sold because of Octopath, and a lot of collector's editions of Octopath have been pre-ordered.
Ooh,
so that's why I'm saying it's very hard to say, because when I look at that game, it doesn't look like one that would sell, just fly off the shelves. Visually and as far as like the aesthetic of the game, the way the game is made, it deserves a lot. That is a absolutely beautiful and gorgeous game. Its art style is great.
Yes.
There's nothing else that looks like it. The voice acting is superb. That game deserves any praise that's given to it. It deserves all of it. All of it. It's just not I don't know. It just depends on where people's heads at as far as picking it up. I mean, if you're a Switch owner, I feel like you should.
Everybody needs to go get this game and then get another copy for your friends. Everybody support this game. I will say that till the cows come home. I don't care. I'll be on that bell cow. I don't care. Support this game, man. Because to me, there's gonna be nothing like it out there. It's a one-of-a-kind game by playing the demo. I was already sucked in playing the demo. So either way, everybody, I know Abaddon, you're here. I know you're gonna get the game. I know tons of people are gonna get this game. So everybody get this game, support it, share it, do whatever you gotta do. We gotta get this game shared so we can get more exclusive content on the Switch from Square Enix, because I cannot wait. But either way, that'll do it for the podcast. Like I said, we always like to try to keep these short. It's on a Sunday. Everybody's got stuff to do. Don't want to waste anybody's time. We ran about 30 minutes. So 30 to 45 minutes is how we normally try to run this. So either way, it was good to have you by, Andy, my dude. Like, I know it's been a while since you've been around doing anything. So just real quick, let the people know, where they can find you, what you're doing with your channel, because you mentioned that, you're working and stuff, and so your streaming schedule has changed. So let them know as far as, everything you're doing, schedule, things like that, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Let's see. My streaming schedule now is Thursday, Friday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I pretty much will be streaming most of the day, early through late night. All the other days I start at 5. If you like Nintendo at all, PlayStation, Xbox, mainly Nintendo for me, you guys are more than welcome to join. If I'm playing any multiplayer games that you happen to own on any system, you're more than welcome to play with me as well. I play with my viewers all the time. I mainly stream multiplayer games. For single player content, I do own 2,000 video games in total. If there's something you guys want to play with me, if there's anything you want to see, all you got to do is just shoot me a message or put it in the suggestion section in my Discord. Currently, I'm going through Starbox Adventure on the channel, Kirby's Air Ride,
Kirby's Air Ride,
Dreamland, and Kirby All-Star Allies. Pokemon month is coming up, so I'll be playing a few games like Pokemon Snap and stuff. I can stream literally any game console. I own everything. I don't do emulators. So yeah, I don't know. You guys should just come hang out. There's a lot to go over with my channel. So I'm oh, and speaking, I'm gonna need Nicktendo's voice for my Splatoon animation. If anyone likes Splatoon, you can see that. And same deal with Young Justice. I would like for him to be a voice of Superboy on Young Justice. So we have a few different things coming on or happening on the channel. So you guys are more than welcome to, you know, hang out and stuff.
All right. And so there you go. That's my boy Andy right there. And so what's going on with my channel? Like I said, I want you to mention y'all before. I'm going to be doing more content focused on this channel. So the podcast will still be here. My Nintendo topics will still be here. My anime topics will still be here. But as far as streaming, my streaming has been carried over to Twitch. I'm doing that route. And so this week, after tonight, I'm going to finish Zelda Week. I started Zelda Week last week. We're going to finish that tonight. We're going to finish Breath of the Wild tonight. And then the rest of the week will now be RPG Week, where I'm going to be playing different RPG games. And so there you go. There you have it, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Hold on a second. Let me try to get this fake mod on here. Sorry, my dude. Like, give me a second here. Let me move this over. So anyway, this is Ultralia's artwork. I don't know what that one is. What is that one? Ultralia, let everybody know what that one is, and then we'll move on to this next one here. Ooh, some artwork there. That looks like that's a dragon, flying dragon Pokemon. That looks nice, or fake mod, whatever it is. But either way, I also put the links in there so anybody wants to go to that artwork, check that out. Click on that. It'll be all good. But either way, we gotta head out. I gotta go eat something. I gotta go take care of my kids and all that stuff. So either way, thanks everybody for stopping by. You guys are the greatest. Appreciate every single one of y'all. And we'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.